Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of my VGC live event side series. So, as we concluded yesterday's episode with round 2 of the recent Premier Challenge I attended in Bristol this past weekend, we're going to be moving on to round 3 today, and we have a very special opponent today, Ben Kyriakou. So I'm sure a few of you have heard of him before. He's won nationals twice. He had a really good finish at the recent London Invitationals, getting top 4 there. So this is going to be a great match. So without further ado, I will just jump straight into it. But before we do that, I will just cover quickly what Ben's team was that he was running. So Ben was running the 6 Pokemon of Tapu Bulu, Gigalith, Gyarados, Gengar, Hariyama, and Arcanine. So as I say, without further ado, let's get into game 1. So, straight away, I'm really concerned about that Gengar. So, that's kind of my reason for me leading off with the Ninetales. I want to make sure if it is sashed, I break that sash, and then I've got an opportunity straight away to try and deal with it. So, I lead off with my Talonflame and Ninetales. Ben leads off with his Hariyama and Tapu Bulu. So my Talonflame is threatened straight away from the fake out from the Hariyama, and I threaten his Tapu Bulu with both potentially my Talonflame and the Ninetales. So we'll go into turn 1. Ben cleverly withdraws his Tapu Bulu and brings in the Gigalith, and I'd imagine the Hariyama probably goes for a fake out onto the Talonflame here, just to stop any potential Brave Birds, or he actually probably, I'm thinking about it. No, he does go for the fake out into the Talonflame, breaking that Gale Wings ability. I go for the Blizzard. I do miss the Hariyama, unfortunately, and pick up a tiny bit of damage onto his Gigalith. So, Ben's in a really good position here. I do threaten his Hariyama with my Talonflame, obviously with the Brave Bird still, but I'm threatened completely by the Gigalith from both ends of the field from rock type attacks. So I've got to be really careful what I do going into the next turn. Obviously that Hariyama as well is also threatening my Ninetales. So turn 2, I withdraw my Ninetales so to preserve that weather. I bring in my Kartana and I go for, so the opposing Hariyama actually goes for a feint, predicting a possible protect onto the Ninetales, which he doesn't get, and I go for a Supersonic Sky Strike with my Talonflame just to ensure that I pick up the KO onto that Hariyama. So I'd expect my Talonflame to actually go down here to possibly a Rock Slide from the Gigalith, but my Kartana should be able to take that with quite a bit of ease. So by bringing the Kartana in there, I'm kind of protecting it by Brave Birding into the Hariyama slot and kind of covering that slot from taking any fighting type attacks anyway. So the Hariyama goes down to the Brave Bird. The Gigalith is going to Rock Slide and take out my Talonflame, which is a bit unfortunate. It's one of my ways to really effectively deal with that Tapu Bulu. So we're both down to 3 Pokemon at this point. We will both just take, well, yeah, we'll both get a bit of health back through the grassy terrain it's up at the moment. So I'll bring in the Ninetales again just to get rid of that Sandstorm off the field. And my opponent brings in, so Ben brings in the Arcanine, which is not ideal for myself at all, because the Arcanine is putting on so much pressure. It's got the Intimidate support to nerf the Kartana, and it's also threatening both of my Pokemon with fire type attacks. So I'm not in the best positions here. I do withdraw my Kartana and bring in my Marowak. And I actually just go for a Blizzard with my Ninetales. And I think at this point, I just want to try and get as much chip damage onto both these Pokemon as possible. The Arcanine reveals a Heat Wave, which I didn't see coming. So he does break the sash on the Ninetales, and he will pick up... he actually goes for the Continental Crush here. So this probably comes out into the Ninetales to pick up the KO. But I'm still not really in the best of positions. I've not got anything to deal with that Arcanine at the moment. It's nowhere near in range of a Sacred Sword from my Cortana, so I'm not looking in the best of positions at the moment. My Ninetales is going to take the Continental Crush and unfortunately faint from that huge Z move. And we are down to 2 Pokemon. And Ben is sitting in quite a nice position at the moment with the Gigalith and Arcanine on the field, and he has the Tapu Bulu still in the back. And then we'll just go through the motions as the grassy terrain heals. Every Pokemon on the field taking as long as it likes. It's not a bad way to play the timer, maybe. Implementing grassy terrain. So I bring in the Cortana, and I'm not in the best positions here. I can't protect my Cortana because it's assault vested, and I'm really forced to kind of just double in to the Arcanine to see if I can try and clear the field of it from this position. Arcanine is just going to go for a Heat Wave. He will pick up the KO on my Cortana. The Gigalith does protect this turn. That critical hit did not matter at all. And I go for the Boomerang into the Arcanine to clear it off the field. So, and then that's a bit unfortunate. We just miss out on the KO and activate the Berry. But that is good information for going into game 2. So, our position here, when it's not looking great. We're not in any position. We've not got any spread moves with our Marowak, so we can't choose to say Earthquake or anything like that. So we can only target one of my opponent's Pokemon, and I think he's just got too much resource at the moment to lose the game. So we will probably come into the last turn and see what happens. So yeah, Arcanine just goes for a Snarl, just to get damage onto the Marowak. And I imagine the Gigalith will probably... So I Boomerang into the Gigalith, yeah, and I don't pick up the KO here, and the Gigalith is just going to Earthquake and clear the field. Will pick up the KO on his own Arcanine, but in the process he will pick up the KO on the Marowak more importantly, and Ben takes game 1. So that is the end to that. So that is my first loss of the Premier Challenge. So hit home, and I definitely had to, actually, sorry about that, my Marowak actually survived that, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm not even paying attention properly. I do end up losing this match though. I think because obviously the Tapu Bulu comes in here, and I do learn actually that the Tapu Bulu is outspeeding my Marowak. So yeah, the Tapu Bulu picks up the KO with the Wood Hammer, and yeah, we finish the matchup there. So yeah, like I was saying, this is my first loss of the event so far, so it's hitting home a bit. So I'm really gonna have to try and switch on in the next match to try and pull it back, and then obviously to try and take it to game 3 to seal up a win. So we'll come out of this game and we'll jump straight into game 2. So game 2, I do make some adjustments here, and I decided to lead off with my Milotic and my Talonflame, because I still want to put pressure on the Hariyama, even though it does have the Fake Out, which can stop my Talonflame turn 1, but I do want to bring the Milotic here because it does put a lot of pressure onto the Gigalith, and it puts a lot of pressure onto the Arcanine as well. So we'll see how we get on in this match. So I lead off with the Talonflame and Milotic. My opponent leads off with the Gengar and the Gigalith. So straight away I switch out my Talonflame into my Garchomp to take any potential Rock Slides that are coming out from the Gigalith, and go for the Scald straight onto the Gigalith with my Milotic. I don't unfortunately get any Scald burns, but the Gengar goes for a Sludge Bomb in the Milotic and picks up the Poison burn there. So the Gigalith is going straight for the Continental Crush, and I think it's probably into the Milotic slot, if I'm not mistaken. We'll just have to see where this massive boulder's going. Yeah, straight into the Milotic, and I'd imagine, yeah, from that range, it's definitely enough to pick up the KO on the Milotic, which is a bit unfortunate. So I do lose one Pokemon first turn, but I do, fortunately, that the the Sandstorm damage does break the potential sash on the Gengar, so I can target that down this turn with my Talonflame. So the Gengar actually protects in preparation probably for that Brave Bird or Supersonic Sky Strike. Yeah, I Brave Bird straight into the Gengar and I go for the Tectonic Rage with my Garchomp into that Gigalith slot just to try and clear it. But Ben actually switches in his Hariyama for the Gigalith, and the Hariyama is going to take a full power Tectonic Rage at this point. So this I should pick up the KO on the Hariyama, and then it evens the matchup a bit at this point. So we're not sitting in too bad a position at the moment because we're really threatening the Gengar with our Talonflame. Obviously, actually we're not outspeeding it now because my Talonflame, I think it speed ties with base 110s. So unfortunately the Sandstorm has broke our Gale Wings ability, so we haven't got the priority anymore. So we do have to be still a bit careful. We don't have the Z move any longer, so I'm just protecting with my Garchomp this turn, and the Gengar is actually going for a Shadow Ball into the Gengar, and I go for the Brave Bird with my Talonflame into the Gengar slot, hopefully just to try and chip it down and get as close to a KO as possible. So we do a nice chunk of damage onto the Gengar there, and the Arcanine actually reveals what is likely to be a hidden power ice into the Garchomp there. So I get some nice damage off onto the Gengar that turn. So going into this next turn, I am going to... so my Talonflame, I get a bit of fortunate there, and I do win the speed tie with the Gengar and get the Brave Bird off first, but that means that the Gengar is going to be cleared off the field, and we will get potentially an Earthquake off onto this Arcanine single target, so it should do quite good damage here. Yeah, so we get the Earthquake off. We don't put the Arcanine in range for its berry to activate, so that's really nice, and it is in Earthquake range now from another Garchomp Earthquake. So Ben has his Gigalith to bring back in. We take a round of Sandstorm damage, and I'm sitting in not too bad a position. Obviously, I don't know if Ben is carrying Wide Guard at the minute, so that's something I need to be wary of, and all I want to do at this point is to reset my Garchomp's attack stat because he's had the Intimidate onto it. So I go for the Brave Bird into the Arcanine, trying to chip it down. The Gigalith goes for Stone Edge into the Kartana. Unfortunately for Ben, it does miss. So this next turn, I go for a Brave Bird into the Arcanine, and I think I Sacred Sword into the Arcanine as well, just to make sure that I do pick up the KO there just by doubling into it. But unfortunately, the Brave Bird activates the Berry, which kind of backfires on me slightly. I don't actually end up doubling into it. Go for the Gigalith, clear that off the field. So that makes obviously a lot more sense. Kartana gets a Beast Boost, but it probably will go down here to what I imagine is a Heat Wave. Kartana avoids it, so I get quite fortunate there, but I don't think it mattered too much at this point in the match because I did have the Garchomp to come in, and that Arcanine is probably in Earthquake range anyway. So that was the end of that game. Now, we are 1-1 at this point, so we're going into game 3, so whoever wins this comes out victorious and on to round 4. So, things I need to watch out for in this match, again, is the Arcanine and the Gigalith. So, I do definitely want to bring my Milotic, but I need to be wary of Ben leading with or switching in that Hariyama, which straight away puts pressure on pretty much everything that I've got, especially that Talonflame with the Fake Out. I want to try and preserve the Gale Wings ability for as long as I can throughout the battle. So we're going to jump straight into game 3 and see what adjustments we both make. And Ben in his goofy hat, goofy girl hat. So I'm going to lead off with my Garchomp and Milotic, and Ben leads with his Hariyama and his Gyarados. So this is great news for me because that Gyarados is going to get the Intimidate off onto my Milotic, and I'm going to straight away get the competitive boost. So I'm not sitting in too bad a position at the moment. Obviously we still have the fake out support on Ben's end to worry about, but what I do is switch out my Garchomp, reset that Intimidate from the Gyarados, and bringing my Kartana into that slot and go for a Scald straight onto the Hariyama. I'm kind of fishing as well for burns onto the Hariyama because I know it's thick fat at this point. It hasn't had the Flame Orb in the past matches. So anyway, the Gyarados goes for a Dragon Dance and the Hariyama goes for a knockoff into my Milotic, getting rid of that Choice Scarf and picking up a critical hit along the way, which is a bit unfortunate for myself. But I go for this turn Smart Strike into the Hariyama, trying to just pick up the KO onto it. I do get fortunate, get a critical hit onto it. I was actually doubling up into that slot this turn, but that's put me in a nice position with my Kartana here because I am on +1 in the minute with my Kartana, and now Ben bringing in the Arcanine is going to boost. He's going to reset the Beast Boost I've got on my Kartana, but he is going to boost my Milotic's special attack to +4. So Milotic is going to be hitting super hard with those Scalds. Ben goes for a Waterfall with his +1 Gyarados. It's not enough, unfortunately, to pick up the KO onto my Milotic. I go for a Leaf Blade with my Kartana onto the Gyarados. Do a decent amount of damage, but proc the Citrus Berry, and the Arcanine goes for a Heat Wave onto my Milotic. Now, I do survive on 1 HP, which is super fortunate, and we did the calculation after the match, and it was pretty much a coin flip. So it was a 50-50 whether that Heat Wave had enough to actually, in combination with the Waterfall, to take me out there. So that was a bit unfortunate for Ben, but I do manage to pick up the KO onto the Arcanine, which is huge. And I've got my Talonflame to bring in at this point. So I'm in a good position here, mate. I've got my Gale Wings ability intact, and I've still got my Z move. So I just go straight for it. Supersonic Sky Strike into the Gyarados, clear that off the field, and I think I just go for I'm not choice locked anymore with my Milotic, but I do believe that his Bulu actually outspeeds my Milotic, so I have to expect that just to pick up the KO on my Milotic this turn. Get the Supersonic Sky Strike off onto the Gyarados, pick up the KO, and the Tapu Bulu goes for a Horn Leech just to pick up the KO onto the Milotic, but I'm in a pretty good position here with the Talonflame really threatening that Tapu Bulu with a priority Brave Bird. So we've both got a last Pokemon left. Oh, actually, sorry, I should say I have one more Pokemon than Ben left at this point. So yeah, I've got the Brave Bird going into this, and I also have the Poison Jab to kind of follow up with the Chomp if the Brave Bird isn't enough. So Brave Bird isn't quite enough. It just misses out on the KO, and Garchomp cleans up the match with a Poison Jab. So that was a nice turnaround from losing game 1 to bringing it back game 2, and then closing it out game 3, and just making adjustments through the match to kind of close those out. I did get a bit fortunate in a couple of places, but it is Pokemon, and you know, there is times when you don't get fortunate and you have to deal with it. So when it does go your way, sometimes you just have to kind of take it when you can get it. But great games to Ben. Thank you for the matches, and it was really a pleasure to play you as always. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, leave a like in the comment, not in the comment section. Leave a comment though if you've liked the video, if there's any suggestions. But if you've liked the video, hit that like button. I like to see the thumbs up. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you are enjoying this little series, and we'll be back tomorrow with round 4 of the Premier Challenge against Ethan Hall. So that will be a brilliant match because Ethan is a bit of a genius team building wise, in my opinion anyway, and he has brought something very interesting to the PC. So stay tuned for tomorrow's episode, guys, and I will stop rambling and let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening. So Thanks again, guys. Take care, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.